Here are the solutions to your quiz from Friday. For number 22, they wanted a 95% confidence interval. So looking at the chart, that's a z-star value of 1.96. The sample mean was 12.5. The standard deviation was 3.4, and the sample size was 25. Our formula is mean plus or minus margin of error, and we plug into our formula, so we get 12.5 plus or minus z-star times the standard deviation divided by the square root of 25. The margin of error here, calculated to one decimal place, is 1.3. So we've got 12.5 plus or minus 1.3. Remember, when you write an interval, the smaller number goes first and the larger number goes second. So the 95% confidence interval is 11.2 to 13.8. I asked that you rounded to one decimal place. A couple of you didn't read those directions. Number 23, how large of a sample? So they're asking us for n. How large of a sample do you need to have in order to have a margin of error of plus or minus 3 at a 99% confidence level? So 99% confidence interval gives us a z-star of 2.576 with the same mean and the same standard deviation as before. So our margin of error is z-star times standard deviation divided by square root of n, and we want that to be less than or equal to 3. You can use plus or minus 3, but we're going to be squaring later, so it doesn't matter. We're solving for n, so I'm going to plug in 2.576 times the standard deviation divided by the square root of n. Just put equals 3 here, it'll be easier to solve it, and then at the end you can put in an inequality symbol. What you do is, on your calculator, 2.576 times 3.4 divided by 3, and that equals the square root of n. You switch the places of those two pieces with a proportion. So square root of n equals 2.91947, etc. And to solve for n, you square both sides. So you get n and then 8 point something over here, but since we're talking about sample size, we really need to round up to 9. And remember, the larger the sample, the smaller the margin of error. So this n is greater than or equal to 9. I accepted n greater than or equal to 8.5 or whatever that number was squared. Okay, the 3 ways to make the margin of error smaller: decrease the confidence interval, which is decreasing z-star, decreasing sigma, the standard deviation, or increasing the sample size. Number 25 was asking you to solve backwards. They gave us a mean of 306.3, standard deviation of 43, and a sample size of 20. And they want to know, what's the z-star? What's the confidence interval? Well, they gave us the interval to be this. Well, where does the mean fall here? The mean falls exactly in the middle. So you figure out how far 306.3 is from each endpoint should be the same, and that distance, or the difference, is 24.8. So our margin of error is 24.8. So we set 24.8 equals z-star times the standard deviation divided by the square root of the sample size. So when we cross multiply 24.8 times square root of 20 divided by 43 to get your z-star, and that's approximately 2.579, which is very close to the 99% confidence interval. If you have any questions on the test, if you want me to go over things further with you, please let me know, and I will be glad to do that.